Hi, it's the Rawsome Vegan Gal here, and today I'm not doing videos like I was doing in the past on a series. I was doing different snack products, products I recommend. I'll get back to that, but I decided to do something a little different today. So this is going to be a video on about whole grains and pseudo grains, and I'm not going to be making anything. I'm going to talk to you. You can't see, but I have behind me a vast array of different types of grains and pseudo grains. To share with you the information, the benefits, what they are, and then I'll list below all of them that I talk about, and these are ones that I actually use, of course. So just to tell you about what our whole grains are. So grains have three parts. They have the germ, which contains the oil, the vitamins, and minerals. It also has the endosperm, which contains protein and carbohydrates, and the outer bran layer, which contains fiber, vitamins, and minerals. And whole grains have all three of these parts present. They are processed minimally, so whole grains really are considered a live food because they're intact and can be sprouted. So while I also do eat others they're still considered whole grains, but they are they take off the brown, but still. Just so you know, whole grains come in different forms. They're whole, milled, or cracked, rolled into flakes, ground into coarse meal, or finely ground into flour. Whole grains are a great source of protein, carbohydrates, fiber, B vitamins, iron, zinc, and other essential minerals. Different grains have different amounts of nutrients in them, so it's best to eat a variety of grains to ensure well-rounded nutrient intake. Also, grains can be refined to remove the germ, so this removes the oil, which increases the shelf life of the grain but reduces its nutritional value. And the nutritional difference between refined grains and whole grains is substantial, just so you know that there is a difference. And then some people have issue with gluten in grains, so they might not eat certain grains as well. And also... let's see, and they say that the box cereals, they use a high extrusion process, use high temperatures to produce flakes, because it also destroys the nutrients and makes the oils rancid. So you have to be careful with that, I guess, if you buy that kind of stuff. And also, this person that mentions it, Sally Fallon, also mentions about the gluten out of the proteins might be difficult to digest. So soaking the grains will help break them down. And let's see what else to tell you. There's anything else. I think that was it on that, and that was from an article from the People's Food Co-op in Oregon, just to make a mention. And then they mentioned some different recipes, ideas for doing like overnight oatmeal, a millet dish, and a buckwheat groats breakfast, etc. So just so you have some little information, I'm going to share some more about specific grains as well. So I have grains from different companies and then different varieties. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the brands and what they carry, because some carry many things. I don't have everything that every brand carries. But what I'm going to start with is, I have some other places where I can share some information. So I want to make sure I have that. So the idea is to educate you on different things. So let's see what else about grains. Let's see. Oh, then there's specific ones that I'll mention. They talk about here, so I'll get to those once I talk about them. Okay, so, sorry, I'm just talking to myself. So the first brand I'm going to talk to you about is a brand called Lundberg. They make organic and non-GMO products. They make a lot of rice products. I'm familiar with the rice cakes, which I also eat. But this is their rice products, and they make many, many varieties. I don't have all of them. They have some that are brown rice and some that are white. So you can look up online. And also what I'll do is I'll include below the products that I have and also the websites for these different companies. And then as far as recipe ideas, the sky's the limit. Check out online to do that. So, so this is one of their interesting blends. It's called the Wild Blend of rice. And it's got things like long grain, sweet brown rice, wild rice, wahani red rice, and organic black rice. And this comes in a 32-ounce package, non-GMO, verified, kosher, gluten-free, whole grain, USA organic. Let's see if there's anything else to tell you here. And they give you information on here how to cook it. You know, it's got 4 grams of protein for a 1/4 cup serving, some potassium, iron, and calcium. So that's what it looks like. And then you can see all the different grains they make. So this is a nice thing to have too because it's a blend. You don't want to do just one type of grain, so this is a nice thing. And along with, on that lines, they also do, and then I'll talk to you about benefits of rice. They also do a sprouted, this is a really nice one, it's a sprouted tricolor blend. What is it, what does it mean when they sprout? They germinated before, so it's easier to digest. And it cooks up much faster. So this one's also got brown rice, sprouted red rice, and sprouted, they're all sprouted, I'm sorry, and then red rice, black rice, and brown rice, as opposed to the other one also had wild. This one comes in a 1 pound package, same information. Also, it's also vegan, I didn't mention. Good source of fiber, gluten-free, whole grain, organic, kosher, all that. So, I'm going to continue on with the rices from Lundberg. I have some other ones. I have also their short grain, organic brown rice, and that one is a 32-ounce bag as well. And I like that they have the opening here that you could see it inside. So that's the short grain. And then I also have their brown basmati rice, same size package, same information, and that's the brown. Sorry you can't see it, I've already used it, so you can't see it. The basmati is a little more aromatic, as they say. It's cooks with the fragrance of Indian basmati, but without elongation. That's what they say. It makes a fluffier texture. And then the short one, what they say about that is clingy and tender. The grains are soft and cling together. Stickier if you're and great recipes where you want a stickier texture. And I think I don't know if they do a sweet rice too, I'm not sure. And this is their long grain brown rice, same 32-ounce package, same information. And this one they say is fluffy and separated. After cooking them, they remain fluffy. It's good for stuffings, pilaf, salads, casseroles, and stir fries. And then the final rice one I have from them is their, and I do also use, like I said, is their white basmati rice. And this one is not certified organic, but it is non-GMO. And everything else is the same. So they say about this one, aromatic and exotic. It has the fragrance of Indian basmati, but without elongation. Same as the other brown, but it's white. Fluffier, drier texture. It's good for stir-fry salads, stuffings, pilaf, and also desserts. So it's like make like a rice pudding. And it cooks up, I believe, much faster in only 15 minutes. So now to tell you, and then there's one other from them that I want to talk about, but I want to tell you a little bit about brown rice, so you have some information. So, brown rice comes like in different varieties, like I say, short, medium, long grain, sweet rice. It's a whole rice kernel with only the outer hull removed. It retains most of its nutrients. It contains the highest amount of B vitamins, is soothing to the nervous system and stomach, nourishing to the brain, healing to the lungs and colon, and provides bran fiber for efficient waste elimination. Short grain is the smallest and contains the most mineral and a high amount of gluten. It's naturally sweet to the taste and suitable for daily consumption. Medium is slightly larger and cooks up softer and moister. I don't think I had medium grain, I had long grain. Also suitable for daily consumption. Long grain rice is most elongated, light, and fluffy. They say it's more suitable for the tropics. It's suitable for summer areas that have 4 seasons. Sweet rice I don't have, but sweet rice is also a more glutinous rice. Again, there's not gluten in it. It's just glutinous, meaning it's more sticky, sweeter in taste, easier to digest than other rice, and highest in protein. So that's just to give you some information about brown rice. Let me see if I have some other information here, because I have many different sheets that I compiled together to give you some good information. Let's see if I have anything on brown rice here. I'm not sure. They have oats. Let's see. I don't think I see any. I see wild rice, but there is there is brown rice here. Protein, dietary fiber, different vitamins and minerals like potassium, phosphorus, calcium, magnesium, iron, manganese, zinc, in different ranges. The potassium, phosphorus are the highest, and the magnesium, also vitamin B1, smaller amounts, niacin, folate. And then wild rice, which is actually in the blend, also has a high amount of potassium, phosphorus, magnesium, let's see what else, zinc, lower amounts of some of the other B vitamins, folate, high in folate. So that's it for the rice. So moving on to the next. So one more thing I had from the Lundberg is their quinoa tricolor blend. If you're not familiar with quinoa, it's with a Q, but it's pronounced like a K. Quinoa is very good. It's high in protein. It has all the amino acids in it. It's high in iron. What else do they say? It's here. Protein, iron, dietary fiber, all 9 essential amino acids. So this includes their white, brown, red, and black mixed together. So it's actually 4. It cooks up very quickly. Just so you know, some companies say that they're washed before. And very important, you need to wash it first because it has something called saponin on it, which protects it from the bugs trying to want to eat it. And you don't want that because it's going to make it bitter. So you always want to make sure you rinse it. And also, they always recommend to refrigerate your grains for extended shelf life. But I actually keep them in the freezer. If you have room in your freezer, that's what I do, especially when they're opened. And this one comes in a 1-pound bag. Again, it's also organic, whole grain, all the other information I mentioned for the other products. And to tell you a little bit more about quinoa, let's see what I have. Some information here I have. So quinoa is, like I said, high in protein, fiber, calcium, essential amino acid, particularly lysine and methionine. I'm not pronouncing it wrong. Methionine. That's it. Which are not abundant in grains. It also contains significant amounts of riboflavin, iron, magnesium, and potassium. It was first grown in the Andes. It's a sesame-sized, disc-shaped seed with a mild nutty flavor. It's the grain is meltingly soft, but its thin germ, which separates from this, has a delicate crunch. You can actually just soak it and eat it too overnight, and it's crunchy. Or you can actually sprout it. You can actually get quinoa sprouts out of them. Quinoa is also the most versatile. You can do it with anything, substitute for rice. Use it in stir fries, casseroles, croquettes, puddings. If you cook it with a little extra water, you make, or some type of other liquid, you can make a breakfast cereal out of it. So that's quinoa. And then there's some other brands of quinoa. While we're on quinoa, I'll probably do those next. But let me just see if there's some more information in my other sheets here. So like I say, I want to give you as much information as I can that will help you in your journey on health. I don't think I have quinoa here. I thought I did. Let me just check one more time here. Sesame seeds. Q comes before SR. Let's see, maybe I missed it. Oh, here it is, quinoa. So high in potassium, phosphorus, calcium, magnesium is a good amount. Also selenium, folate. So yeah, so I did find it. So the other brand that I have that also does quinoa that I like, and they have also a tricolor quinoa. This is Ancient Harvest. This comes in a, trying to see the amount, 14-ounce bag. And they're also certified organic, kosher, non-GMO. I believe gluten-free as well. Let's see what else. It's got the white, the black, and the red. So it comes in a bag like this. Again, I like it. And it has a resealable. And the same thing with all the Lundberg ones have all resealable packaging, which is great. Let's see. And then they have a couple of others. So I'm not sharing through everything. They also make a quinoa pasta. You know, there's so many different things that these companies make. So they also do their regular white, you know, in a bag. And theirs is wash and rinse too, so you don't have to wash and rinse it unless you really want to. The other thing I have that I like from them is their quinoa flakes. Again, this is not still considered a whole grain, but it's like I say, it's not. It's a little more processed than the others. So this one comes in a 12-ounce box. So that's the quinoa flakes from Ancient Harvest. So next I'm going to get to, let's see what I'm going to do next. Let me move this out of the way. So next I'm going to do an interesting grain, which is actually considered probably a pseudo grain, which quinoa is actually also, just so you know, quinoa is not a true grain. It's actually considered a seed. So people who don't eat grain, quinoa is not considered a grain. And I believe teff is the same. So teff is very unique. A lot of people don't know about it. It's an ancient grain from Ethiopia. So it comes in brown and in ivory. And it's got a lot of good nutritional benefits. So I have these bags. It's from a company called Moscow Teff. And they're also non-GMO, whole grain. I don't think this one's organic. As far as you know, gluten-free, grown in the U.S., good source of protein. Also, very good source of iron. You might not be aware of this, but if you're concerned about your iron, so in a quarter cup, and I believe that's a quarter dry cup, it doesn't say cooked, it's got 30% iron in the brown, and the grains are very, very tiny. And then in the white one, it's 25. Also good in calcium, 6%, protein as well. And what it is you need to cook this with more water. I've actually done some videos from this company, so you can check those out where I've showed you how I make it and what I make with it. But I don't know if you can see the grain. I'm not going to open the bag because it'll spill out because it's an open bag. But the grains are very, very small. I don't think you might be able to see that now. Very tiny. They're like, and they're very glutinous. They stick together. So when you cook it, like here it says you bring 3 cups of water to a boil and add a cup of teff. And you have to be very careful because it sticks and can burn in the pot. So you have to do it very gingerly. Or if you don't want to cook it by itself, add it to something so then it won't do that. Like you're making a stew, just put it in with all the other ingredients and maybe wouldn't have much of a problem. They also do a teff flour, and same thing in Ivory and in the brown, and those come in a 16-ounce bag. And the teff also comes in a 16-ounce bag. And let's see if I have some more information to share with you about teff. I believe I do. Let me see here. Teff. Let's find the information I need to share here. Oh yeah, so teff is rich in minerals, especially calcium, also high in protein. It says a 3/4 cup serving has 6 grams of fiber, 20% iron. It's the world's tiniest cereal grain. It's 1/150th the size of a wheat kernel and has a toasted pecan malty cocoa flavor. In Ethiopia, its country of origin, it's ground and used as a flour rather than as a whole grain. And the flour can be made with cookies, cakes, quick breads. The teff grains can be used as a side dish in soups or to make polenta. So in soups too, it'll thicken it up. But like I said, I did a video on them, so you could check that out and see how I make that. And let's see if I don't know if this one has anything on teff, because not everyone does, because not everyone knows about it. No, they don't have anything on teff here. Okay, so next I'm going to get to a couple of products from Bob's Red Mill. You probably have heard of him as well. And this is some of his corn products. I don't have whole corn, but this is again, it's processed. So 2 different ones I have are their polenta, which is corn grits, so it's made into a little coarser grain, and it can be used to make porridges and stuff like that. This comes in a 24-ounce bag. It's kosher. It's organic. It's what else? Does it say gluten-free? It doesn't say, but I'm not sure about corn being, I guess it is. I'm not sure. It doesn't say anything here about gluten-free. What else? And the cornmeal also comes in a 24-ounce bag, and that's, cornmeal would be, you could also make a cereal out of it, but people would make a lot of things like cornbread, pancakes, could be used for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. What else do they say here? Polenta is more of an Italian type dish, and I've done polenta with other vegetables too. And it's a nice option as something different to use. So that is the corn polenta and the cornmeal. And let me see if I have any information on corn, but I could tell you on back here. So it's high in iron. 1/4 cup has 8% iron, a little bit of protein, good dietary fiber, well, kind of, 2 grams, 8%. But not everyone eats corn, so if you're not a corn person, I do like corn products. So I think there might be some things on corn here. Let me see if I have anything on corn. No, nothing here. I thought I did. Okay, so that's it for Bob's Red Mill. Now the final brand I have, no, I actually have one more product from Bob's Red Mill. I just forgot. Whoops. I also have his rolled oats. I forgot about that. So these are old-fashioned rolled oats, as opposed to whole oats. Some people eat whole oats. They're whole grain, a good source of fiber, non-GMO, kosher, certified organic as well. And this is a large bag. This is their 32-ounce, 2-pound bag. It comes in different varieties. They also do like a steel cut oats. Bob's Red Mill has a lot of different grains and also beans. They do a lot of products. They're milled from the highest quality oats, it says. Let's see what else. And it's funny, I don't eat breakfast in the morning, so sometimes I'll have oats for dinner as something else to eat. So it's got a good amount of protein, 1/2 cup, 5 grams of protein, 10% iron, 4% potassium. And they give you information on here how to make it, etc. Let's see what else. Let me see if I have some information on oats here. I believe I do. Let's see. Try to find if there's anything on oats. Here we go. So oats, yeah, high in protein. They're high in potassium, phosphorus, good amount of calcium, magnesium as well. I'm not giving you the numbers. I'm just kind of telling you. It's like, gives you different ranges. So that's for oats. And so the final brand I'm going to talk to you about, now I'll finally get to it, is Arrowhead Mills. They also make a lot of different varieties of products. One of their interesting products that you may have never seen before I get to the whole grain ones, it is considered whole grain, so is a rice and shine hot cereal. So what they do is it's kind of like steel cut oats where they're broken up into smaller pieces so they actually cook much faster. So this is what the package looks like. And I won't talk about rice again since I've already talked about it. So this is organic, non-GMO, gluten-free, kosher, in a resealable bag as well. And I think the oats were as well. The oats were in a resealable bag. I just didn't remember. Also, a low-fat, cholesterol-free, whole grain. They are brown rice grits, they call them. They call them like grits because they're broken up into little pieces. Yeah, good amount of phosphorus, thiamine, niacin, iron, a little bit of protein. So it's very easy. It cooks up really fast. I think it says it cooks up here in about 2 to 3 minutes. So it's depending on your stove too. So you have to be careful. Like everybody's stove is different how it works. So that's a nice thing. Also, could use to be thickened, like if you're thickening a soup or something. Now for the other whole grains that I have. So we'll start with. I've got some buckwheat groats. Now buckwheat groats come as roasted, or they call that kasha, or as raw. And I have their organic buckwheat groats that are actually roasted. And it's got 42 grams of whole grain per serving. 24-ounce bag, again, organic, non-GMO, gluten-free, kosher, all that. Same for all their products. So like I said, this is already toasted, but it's not ready to eat, they say. It have to be cooked. And buckwheat groats are toasted, they say. They have an intense flavor. And they can also be cooked with rice. Some people love it with pasta. It says also try it in pancakes and dumplings too. Interesting. So it's got, a good amount of phosphorus, niacin, thiamine, iron, folate, riboflavin, potassium, protein as well. So buckwheat is really nice. It's warming. So if you're in a cold climate, this is a nice thing to have. And the toasted one cooks up much faster. It says it only takes 5 to 7 minutes. Whereas if you have the raw one, it takes longer to cook. I sometimes actually put it in a stew when I make it. So let's see what information I have here on buckwheat. Oh, and by the way, buckwheat is also not considered a grain. It's actually considered a pseudo grain as well. So let's see if I have any information. So I do have some information on buckwheat here. So buckwheat has given amounts of, like I said, fiber, riboflavin, magnesium, and selenium. More than 3 times selenium of whole wheat. It's also a good source of the bioflavonoid rutin, you might not have heard of that one, which supports blood vessels, helps circulation, and has high levels of essential amino acids. It's originally from Serbia and Manchuria. It's related to rhubarb. That's why it's not a whole grain. Toasted buckwheat is called kasha. We mentioned that already. To use, let's see. It has, like say, buckwheat has a stick to the ribs quality because it takes your body longer to digest than other grains, so it's more filling. It makes a good breakfast cereal, casseroles, loaves, etc. And let's see what it says in here on buckwheat, if I have anything. We mentioned potassium, phosphorus, calcium, magnesium is high in. Selenium, good amount, folate, so that's buckwheat. So I have quite a few others from Arrowhead Mill, so we'll just go through them. So this is a nice one. Also, I think it's considered a pseudo grain. It's called Amaranth, and the grains are a little bit bigger than the Teff, but they are very small. And this comes, and I mentioned the buckwheat is in a 24-ounce. I did mention that. I just want to make sure I let you know everything here. So this one is a 16-ounce package, and this is Amaranth if you've never seen it. So all the other information applies as far as the organic, etc. Let's see. It's got high amount of phosphorus, protein as well. Iron, very high, 20% for a quarter cup. Folate, riboflavin, potassium, calcium, thiamine, phosphorus, niacin. I mentioned all those. It's an ancient grain, and they say here it's good for flavorful soups, breads, and dressings. And don't forget, this one's also very glutinous. It sticks together like Teff does, so it can actually burn the pot if you're just cooking it itself. So I always usually cook it with other things or put it in a stew. It's actually much better that way. And then to tell you what else I have here on Amaranth. So 1 cup of it is 20% of your day's protein, rich in essential amino acid lysine. It's also a good source of calcium, iron, magnesium, and fiber. We mentioned that. So Amaranth is prized by the Aztecs. It's a stately and spectacular magenta plant with edible leaves. As I say, it's not a grain, it's a pseudo grain. The pale yellow seeds are smaller than mustard seeds. Robust, almost peppery taste, remain intact when cooked. Unless you toast it first, cooked amaranth becomes as sticky as a melted marshmallow. It actually does. So I guess if you toast it, it doesn't do that. It can be combined with rice or other grain, used for thickening stews and soups. When roasted in a very hot wok until it pops, amaranth puffs up, turns white, and tastes like a blend of roasted nuts. So you have to be careful if you do that. If you puff it, because it can pop all over the place and make a mess. So, so So that is amaranth. And then let's see what else. Amaranth, I mentioned all these things, the benefits, it's high in all the folate as well, all the other things I did mention. So we got that information. Let's see what is next. Next I think I just have a couple other things here left, and we're almost done with this. So I'm sorry, apologize, it's a long video, but I want to make sure I get everything in here. So this is the organic whole millet, 28-ounce bag. This is also from Arrowhead Mills. Again, they're always sealable bags. All the other information is the same. Let's see, very high in dietary fiber, 15% for a quarter cup. Good amount of protein, niacin, thiamine, iron, riboflavin, and phosphorus. It says here, this little seeds cook up quickly, add flavor and texture to breads if you make a millet bread, but I cook the millet itself. Again, this is another one that's not glutinous necessarily, but it so to speak drinks up a lot of water. Like it says here, you should use 2 cups of water to 1 cup of millet. I think some people say 3 cups of water, because it absorbs a lot of water and it can burn very easily, so you got to be careful with that one. Again, I always usually make these in stews, so I don't have that issue because I add a lot of water when I cook it. It says it's often eaten like rice and was the staple of China before rice became predominant. It's also delicious in puddings, pilafs, and stuffings. And let's see any other information I have about millet here. I do have a few other things. I actually have some other papers here about the benefits of millet. Let's see. I have it's high in protein, iron, B vitamins, copper, silicon, and chromium. Millet is also beneficial for spleen, pancreas, and stomach. Now, I don't have information for the other grains, so I apologize, but I just happen to have for this one. It's easily digested. It's also very alkaline for the body. That's important. It helps balance blood sugar levels and overcome candida infection, and has a calming and centering effect. So that's good information about millet. And then let's see what else I have here about millet. I might have some other things, so let me just see before I continue on. I think I have one more grain to, yes. We mentioned all these things, potassium, phosphorus, high in magnesium, other things, folate, vitamin A. So some are higher numbers like milligrams. Micrograms is less, so milligrams is more benefits. So I think the last one I have here is, let me see if I have one more, I believe. Yes, it's pearl barley. Now, barley is maybe considered one of them that has gluten in it, so not everyone would eat barley. But this is their pearl barley. So again, it's not whole barley. You may have seen whole barley. So this is it's still good for you. It's still a good source of fiber. It's a 28-ounce bag. It does have, still good nutrition in it. It's got good phosphorus, niacin, thiamine, iron, riboflavin, and low amount of folate. Very high in dietary fiber. So it's had its hard outer layer removed, it says, and this chewy, delicate flavor is very versatile. People make a barley soup, like mushroom barley soup is very famous. You can also make it as a pilaf, pudding, or even a breakfast cereal. But again, it's pearl, so some people don't want the pearl because it's taken off the whole part of it. And the whole grain has to be soaked longer, so this would cook up much faster. So that's that one. And let's see if I have any information here about barley. I got some more information to tell you. Oops, my thing came off here. I don't think I have any. I do have barley here, about pearl barley specifically. Again, they mentioned potassium, phosphorus, calcium, magnesium. What else? Iron, selenium is also good. Good amount of folate. Again, it's micrograms, but still. Niacin. So that is on pearl barley. So that is it for today. I know this is a long video, but I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you got to learn a lot of new things you may not have known about different grains. And I did actually as well myself. I haven't gone through the papers in a while, so it's a lot of good things to do them. And again, some people don't want grains, so you can still opt for the pseudo grains, the buckwheat. The wild rice is a pseudo grain. The quinoa, the teff, I believe as well, the amaranth. So there's other options for people who are trying to stay off of grains. I don't think that that's necessary. I love grains, and I do and will continue to eat them, and I will enjoy them. And I thank you for watching. It's the Rawesome Vegan Gal.